All right, are we recording? Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to do this? I'm so excited. I like hearing the sound of my own voice. I'm catful. Oh my god, I need attention. I like parties.
Can we do this a little more organized than y'all did last time?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I mean, I mean, that's like one of those that's one of those deal breaker things. I mean, it'd be like asking "Hey, can I stick my dick in your mouth?" Or no, "Can I stick my dick in your butt and then like have you suck me off?" I'm like, "No." Like that's not well. Oh no, actually that makes less sense. Okay, so it'd be more like, "Hey, James, can I get into your car and then like fly it into outer space?" And that's just not physically possible. I mean, it's not just a matter of distaste, but you're asking me something that's not physically possible. I mean, you can actually, if there's three people, you can easily propose topics because that prevents me from hijacking them. You can always just yell, "Party cat, stop being so catful."
Welcome to Random Adventures of
Electro Party Cat.
Morgala.
and Rao. What the fuck are you doing?
What I'm eating? God.
What are you eating?
Yeah.
Okay. So we just had Valentine's Day, right?
We did.
Right.
So I got a date for once. And so I was like, hey, yeah, so St. Louis, the city that I live in and love, has a lot of problems, but it has a lot of good things about it. It has a lot of high quality agricultural exports and commodities. And you might be wondering, well, okay, so you have soybeans and wheat. Why do we care about that? In addition to that, we also have refined products. St. Louis also is a center of artisan chocolate production.
Huh.
So, people are generally familiar with their Hershey bars and their Nestle bars, but there's a lot of smaller chocolatiers in St. Louis, like one-man operations, or in very small operations making artisan chocolates. And these are very high quality, very delicious high quality, very delicious chocolates, even exotic chocolates. And St. Louis has, we found out like over 7 of these artisan chocolate makers. And so this girl and I just said like, hey, let's just visit them all and like do a chocolate tasting at every single one of these. And I ate so much chocolate. I got really, really sick. We had a really great time though, visiting all these chocolatiers on Valentine's Day. And yeah, so that's what I started doing. So I'd have to say that in the event you're ever in St. Louis, my top 3 artisan chocolatiers are Cacao, which is off of South Jefferson. Then there's Rick Jordan's, which is in Chesterfield, Missouri, at the intersection of Baxter and Clayton. And then there is Van Buskirk's, which is way out in St. Charles County, which is actually not in St. Louis. St. Charles and St. Louis share an uncomfortable relationship, much like Dallas and Fort Worth. And I'm not a paid spokesman of these companies, but I just want to say that, there's more to St. Louis than rioting. There's delicious chocolate in your mouth.
And chocolate gets you laid.
Oh, yeah. I can attest to that.
I think that should be a podcast all by itself. I mean, come on.
Chocolate
We can make that.
it.
Why do we only have to have a podcast once a week? We could, we could have mini podcasts or take all this like weird outtake shit together and make an outtakes podcast. I can also tell you the story about this huge poop that I took today.
Ooh, I'm so interested in that story. You should tell.
Okay, so I was running late to my Dungeons and Dragons game, and yeah, I know it's really awesome. This is how I'm bringing it back to gaming, because I'm the party cat. I talk about gaming and parties, and I had a chocolate party, and then I had a gaming party, and since I ate a lot of food, then I had another kind of chocolate party, but it wasn't that kind of chocolate. It was the bad kind of chocolate, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean.
All right, so anyway, I was running late, and I was like, oh, shit, I don't have time for breakfast. And I was, like, looking around, and I was like, well, I haven't cleaned out my trunk in a while, so I opened up my car and I was like thinking, there's got to be like some food that I started eating but hadn't finished stored somewhere in this trunk. And I was right. I found a box of Fiber One bars, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! I can just eat these."
Oh no!
So I ate about 4 of them.
Oh God!
And so then it was really great. But then, I'm playing my game, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and I just had to like run to the bathroom, and man, I don't really know how to describe it, but I feel like my pipes are clean. This is a greatly underrated feeling that I have right now.
In a related topic, actually, when I stopped smoking, I went on a body cleanse. So I understand the feeling of having clean pipes.
It's a great feeling.
It is, until you junk your shit up again, and then you feel like shit all the time again. So it happens like a week after you get out of your cleanse. It's cool. It's cool.
I was going to say, like, and you can feel free to edit this out. So does Mrs. Morgloth clean your pipes, if you know what I mean, Morgloth?
Wow. How inappropriate.
He doesn't edit this. I edit this.
Exactly.
Whoops. I'm just implying you have a happy marriage. And by happy, I mean active. And by active, I mean sexy.
Morgaloth, you want to talk about the Stream of Terror?
Well, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to talk about right now. I'm still I'm working on figuring out which game to start with.
He's starting with Hateful Boyfriend. We all know it.
That sounds awesome. Dude, hey, wait, I just remembered. I have the original Tokimeki Memorial for Sega Saturn in Japanese. I could mail that to you.
I don't have a Sega Saturn, and I don't speak Japanese.
Well, shoot. You know what? I guess that would have to be like a group project. Someone could sit with me, and then we could just bang through it. And I have a Sega Saturn, a Japanese Sega Saturn, that I could lend out to anyone that wants to be a test pilot.
You know what, guys? We should get together, and I don't know, maybe like in April? Do you think April cool? We should get together in April, and we could do some shit like that. Like team things.
God, that sounds awesome.
We should do that.
Totally.
Wow. We should tentatively schedule an awesome podcast of awesomeness covered in awesome sauce in April.
That sounds... No, fuck it. Let's do May.
No, wait. May's taken. I gotta go to a wedding during May.
Oh, damn.
Well, not all of May, but just the convenient parts.
Well, what about June?
We're doing that in June. Wait, no, I'm thinking of July.
June.
Yeah. We could do July, guys.
No, July sucks. Nothing good happens that month.
Nothing ever. Except for the greatest gaming party of the year!
Yeah! SGC!
Woo! July 17th through the 19th. Get your tickets at sgconvention.com right now.
Meet the cast of turn-based comedy. Party with the Electro Party Cat. Make awkward passes at Mrs. Morgloth, not realizing she's married.
Woohoo! It sounds like a good time, bitches.
Nuts.
She'll be at work, so...
You're ruining our commercial. Stop it.
That's what you call it, Morgloth, work.
Anyways.
I'm going to have to put that commercial... I'm going to send that commercial to Screw Attack. Yeah.
Awkward product placement for the win!
All right, we just have, like, the product placement... Well, let's see, what else do I got here? I have an Apple iPad Air 2. Okay, all right. I need to get this off. I need to get this off. Fuck you. I need to get this off my I need to get this off my shelf. No, not. I need to get this off my chest. What the fuck? All right, so I got
just
an
iPad. Roll over. It'll fall. Gravity will take it off your chest.
All right. All right. I'm telling a rant now, guys.
Okay,
let me rant.
Listening ears.
Let me rant. All right, so I ordered an iPad Air 2 through our Sprint. Morgaloth and I share a Sprint account because I'm lazy and he's got a Sprint account. So I got this iPad Air 2, the cellular model, because I need an iPad because why the fuck not? I need an iPad. I had an iPad but I don't anymore. Now I have an iPad. So I get this iPad Air 2. All right, first of all, UPS is like, you're going to have to be there when it gets there. Well, actually, they didn't say that, but I assumed since it was a fucking $600 product, whatever. So I assumed I need to be there when they get there. So I wake up, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, hopefully they come early, so I got shit to do today. This motherfucker doesn't show up till 8:55 p.m. First of all. Throws that shit at my door, doesn't even ring the doorbell, and leaves.
He threw it at the door?
I heard the box slam into the door. I heard a thunk.
Wow. I would have reported that.
All right, before this, at like 8:30, I was like, I have to go to Walmart to get a prescription. I get prescriptions at Walmart because I'm cheap. So anyway, I'm like, I gotta go. Fuck it. I guess I'm not getting my iPad today. So I'm driving out of my neighborhood, and I pass the fucking UPS truck, and I'm like, you fucking kidding me, really? It's almost 9 o'clock. So it's 8:30. I drive back to my house. I'm like, all right, he'll be here within 5 minutes. I can still make it to Walmart Pharmacy, which closed at 9. So I'm like, where the fuck are you? He fucking just... Like, really, dude? So I get into the house, and this is a problem I have with Apple products. I open the box, and I'm like, yes, all right, I got it. I'm going to set this shit up. I'm going to have some fun, and I'm going to buy some apps. And I open the box, and I pull it out, and it says Apple iPad Air. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm paying for an Air 2, which is like $10 more than an Air a month, right?
Probably.
So I've had a shitty day, and I'm not thinking rationally at this point, and I forget I'm dealing with Apple. So I'm like, oh, and I messaged Morgaloth, and I'm like, dude, they fucking sent me an Air, and you're like, lol. I'm like, really? I'm already pissed off. Really, lol.
Yep.
So I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, do I send this back to Sprint? It's going to be another fucking week. I'm being charged for this shit. UPS pissing me off. And if they send it through UPS again, fuck it. I don't want an iPad anymore. I was having a really bad day. And it turns out that Apple is a dick. And they don't write, like, Apple iPad Air 2. They write, this is a iPad Air, and then really tiny fine print, it says second generation. On the back. Actually, I don't think the box actually says second generation on it. I had to look up the model number on apple.com to find out it was an iPad Air 2. That's just my little rant of the week. Welcome to Real Rants!
Apparently.
I don't know. This is one weird podcast. I don't give a shit.
Cleans out your soul, much like eating 4 Fiber One bars for breakfast cleans out your butt.
Alright, here's the challenge. In April, we are, for reals, getting together. April something-ish, through the something-ish. We're getting together. We should have a challenge. Like, one of those eating challenges. But we should do this instead. We're going to get, like, 3 boxes of fiber bars.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to give each of us a box, and we're going to be, like, have to finish it in one sitting. We have to eat them. It's not a contest of who finishes eating first. It's a contest of who has to shit first.
Wow.
That is a turn-based comedy contest, in my opinion.
You know what? You're a small man, Harrell. I think you're going to lose. Or, I don't know. Then of course, there's Morgaloth. He's kind of wiry. So, I think it'll work through him faster. Me, I'm chunky. Like, it goes in, it doesn't come out. Ever.
Where did we go wrong with this podcast?
Where did we go wrong?
Right with this podcast? This is comedy gold.
Should we record another commercial?
Yeah, I'm telling you, turn-based comedy. This podcast, emphasis on comedy and taking turns pooping.
Well, that is true. We'd only have one bathroom in the hotel.
Oh, God, how many... Oh, okay, so we still have to rent a hotel for this. Hey, so let me ask you a question. Speaking of turn-based game activities, one of my favorite activities is plinking. So, did Morgaloth ever get his concealed carry license?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I have to send in all my paperwork and pay $140.
I have to say that it does make me a little bit uncomfortable, but I can hit anything just fine with the 22. It's larger rounds than that. I start having problems because my hands are weak and girly.
So you're saying you have a problem with larger units?
I know, I just can't take it.
He's not used to handling large things.
I just can't wrap my fingers around it if it's too big.
I'm just gonna let that one speak for itself.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I had a lot of problems with like Sega Saturn controllers, like those big round ones.
So I didn't like the Xbox controller because that was a fucking beast.
Oh gosh! Oh, the original Xbox.
Oh yeah.
The original Xbox controllers.
Yeah.
That was kind of painful to hold.
I didn't actually have an Xbox, but a friend did when we played Halo 2 and shit. I actually got a third-party like Xbox controller that was like tiny, like really fucking tiny, and it was perfect and it was awesome, and yeah. But they fixed it with the 360 controller before fucking it up with the one controller.
Yeah, I really prefer the 360 controller. I have no idea why they wanted to make changes to it. Well, I understand why they want to make changes to it. I don't understand why they thought it was an improvement. I remember watching an interview with the man who designed the controller, and he talked extensively about all the testing they put into it to make sure that the Xbone controller was more comfortable than the Xbox 360 controller, and I'm really just not feeling it.
The only problem with the 360 controller is the D-pad. So, I don't know what to tell you.
I'm also wondering, though, if they have a bad sample size, because I'm of Japanese extraction.
Think about this.
I've got tiny everything.
Yeah, think about this. The PlayStation and the Nintendo consoles are all tested, in Japan. The controllers are tested in Japan. Whereas a Microsoft console is tested in the United States, because that's just where they are. So, you would say a United States Mel would have a bigger hand than, say, a Japanese kid. I have tiny hands. I'm not going to lie. They're, like, very tiny. I had a very big problem with it when I was growing up. I'm like, everybody's making fun of my hands. Nobody gave a shit, but in your head. So, I've always, like, gravitated towards the smaller controllers because I do have tiny little stubby hands, so. And I'm not even Japanese. Did I ruin what you're trying to say? I'm sorry.
No, I can definitely. I had a strange moment once a while ago when I played a SNES after a long time, and it was actually a Japanese SNES, a Super Famicom. And after getting used to my Xbox 360, which was after I got used to my PlayStation 2 controller, which is after I got PlayStation 2 DualShock controller, which was after I got used to my PlayStation controller, a Japanese Super Famicom controller just felt positively tiny and lightweight because it didn't have like the handle grips on there. I think they called them. Have you ever heard them call them pistol grips on the controllers?
No.
No, but you know what I'm talking about, like those.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It was just tiny, and in a way it was kind of refreshing because it
felt
didn't
right.
weigh down my hands. It was so light.
I understand that one completely. I would say the same thing about the NES controller, but it's a fucking square, and fuck that.
Yeah, it had its own feeling because it's square, and it just doesn't fit quite right into my hand, it feels.
I will say an NES controller is better for NES games than a fucking Wiimote is, because a Wiimote just feels heavy and clunky in your hand when you're holding it like an NES controller.
Agree.
The Wiimote? The Wiimote does?
Yeah, when you're holding it like an NES controller. It's huge, and it doesn't have anything. At least the NES controller, yeah.
It's tiny.
No, it's not tiny. It's bulky. NES controller is at least super thin. It poked the shit out of your fucking hand. Don't get me wrong, but you weren't holding like off. All right, the Wiimote's problem might be because the center of gravity's off.
I would have to say that it's actually even worse in my situation because I have Wii Motion Pluses on all of my Wiimotes. So, like, I have to like I kind of have to like either do a reach around or like have like my thumb at a weird like hold it over. I mean, it's not that fun if you have a Wii Motion Plus on there.
Yeah, but if you look at it, you have no weight up front where the D-pad is, and you have fucking either 2 batteries or a battery pack in the rear. I mean, where the buttons are. I gotta close Steam because it's making a shit ton of noise. Exit Steam. Somebody's been Steam messaging me like throughout the podcast, and I'm like, stop it! It's coming through the podcast. All right, go on.
Well, no, I was saying it's. I mean, yeah, it's thicker, but it's tiny.
Are you saying your Wii is tiny?
Haha. But no, see the NES controllers. There's more room for the fingers in the back. You could put more fingers back there.
So your argument is the Wiimote is thinner width-wise, and the NES controller has more width. Basically.
Yeah, so there's the NES controller. There's more to grab, more to hold on to.
Morgoloth, I think you've been drinking because if I understand you correctly, you just offered the argument that the Super Nintendo controller is better because you can finger it better.
I think he said NES controller.
Oh.
We're talking about NES controllers.
It was just the way you worded it. It's awkward.
I did.
I like to finger my controllers in the butt.
I didn't say that, but no, but
I can edit you in saying that. I can edit it.
I bet you could. The NES controller was easier to hold than the Wiimote in that horizontal position.
Fair enough, but I'm not talking width and height. You're gonna get that square mileage out. I'm talking about the third dimension. I don't know why I did that. I'm talking, you got your faceplate, and then everything under it where your batteries are. That is fucking huge, and it just kills your hands. I'm sorry. Ooh. You want to fight?
No.
Okay. This is where this debate's going. I'm gonna fucking kick your ass, man.
Hey, we can fight. You want to go buy Payday? And we all wait. Actually, that's not a fighting game. Shit, never mind.
I have like Mortal Kombat collection on Steam.
I never really gotten into Mortal Kombat.
What?
I know. I just the only fighting game that I really ever liked was Smash Brothers. And when I was in college, I also played Tekken 5 because there was this guy in the dorms who had Tekken 5, and he would yell at people and challenge them to play Tekken 5 against him. And I guess I just got peer pressured into doing it.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
That's funny. Hey, you play Tekken 5? I'll beat your ass, come on.
I was always a Street Fighter fan until The Legend of Chun-Li. The awkward silence helps. What? Chun-Li or Kristen, whatever the fuck her name is, that played her.
Oh, you're talking about the movie. I thought this was like some sort of dream you had.
Morgoloth, why don't you come up with something for us to randomly speak about? What is on your mind right now? No matter the topic, it can fit in this podcast.
50 Shades of Grey. Hey, did you see 50 Shades of Grey?
Oh, I got a story about that. I did not see it either.
Or read the book.
I got a story about it, though.
Oh, is it the one I know?
Maybe. All right, so my grandma got pneumonia and was in the hospital a couple weeks ago, right?
It's the one I know.
So she asked my mom to go get her books to read while she was in the hospital. So my mom went to Bestsellers and just picked out random books to buy her and brought them to the hospital. And, like, the next day, I went up to the hospital with my mom to visit my grandma. And my grandma was like, why the hell would you buy me this book? And I like, what book is it? And it's like 50 Shades of Grey. And I'm like, God damn it, Mom. Why would you get me porn?
Yeah, I'd have to say it's a great movie to go take a girlfriend or wife. But, I mean, you have to kind of go in there not expecting literature. You have to go in there with the understanding that you are going there to watch a pornographic film. It is smut. If you do that, you will have a great time. Don't go in there thinking you're going to see a romance movie or a drama. You have to have your mind made up that you are going into a movie theater to watch a pornographic movie with other people. Once you get that out of the way, you can enjoy it.
Just don't whip it out.
Or
unless I don't have anything there.
No, I don't think you should.
Who is crushing a water bottle?
That would be nobody actually.
Is it Brian?
No, there is no water bottle. That's me putting a plastic lid back on a plastic thing of hummus.
Ew.
Yeah. So I guess what I was going to say was, did you and are you going to take Mrs. Morgoloth to go see 50 Shades of Grey?
Nope.
Do it.
All right.
All right.
If you ever find yourself bored and buy a movie theater, you'll have a good time. Just don't go alone, because that's creepy.
Like the one guy, like they were doing a news report, like 50 Shades of Grey opened up today, and there's like this one guy walking out of the theater. He sees the camera and he turns around and he's like, "Shit, I hope they didn't see me." Party Cat, tell us about the game you're playing.
I've been playing Dead State a lot, and I'm winning really, really hard because I'm awesome at the game. So I don't really want to beat a dead horse because I talked about it last time. I feel like I'm getting close to beating it because I have like a lot of awesome weapons and a lot of ammunition and a lot of food and a lot of gasoline and a lot of everything that you need to do awesome stuff. So I'm going to beat that soon and be done with it.
Did you ever poop? I just now got your message.
Yeah, that was from when I was eating the 4 Fiber One bars.
Very nice.
So that's why you brought it up. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was relevant. I was like, oh, God. I just went in and, like, my ass just exploded. Okay, and my ass did not actually explode. It was much like a firearm, like, projecting a bullet. I mean, it was just like, oh, my God. Like, there was this intense pressure in my ass. Like, it was almost painful. And then I dropped my trousers. I point my ass to the toilet. And then just there was release followed by, like a like the sound of like poop like violently ricocheting off the inside of the bowl of the toilet, and I'm feeling so much better.
Wow.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the Turn-Based Comedy Podcast.
Wait, can you remove that part? Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that.
That is the ending of the podcast. I'm sorry. It was perfect.
Yep.